This came around with an absolute madness. Honestly, I can't believe I'm sitting here doing a pre-season preview already. The 24-25 season is taking a step closer when we play Rosenborg. Training for the new campaign has been underway for most clubs for a little while, maybe a bit over a week or so, and preparations are gently getting ramped up. And despite last season not really going to plan at all, and Euro 2024 finishing just 24 hours before this friendly, the rest of the squad are out there. They're making the trip, and there's going to be plenty of youngsters involved in this one. I would think Ogunneye, Will Fish, Toby Collyer, Amass, Scanlon. I think there'll be loads, as well as probably some more familiar faces. I think you could see Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Rashford, because I think that's what you've got, really. I would expect 2 11s. That's generally how Ten Hag likes to rock it in pre-season. He tends to start with the best 11, but that's not always the case. If there's been a game recently, he can start with his second 11 and then bring the other one on at half-time. But I would think with this one being the first game of pre-season and not much else going on, he probably goes with what he considers to be his strongest 11 in the first half of the game. So I'd expect to see the likes of Onana, Rashford, Mount, Maguire in this one, depending on Maguire's fitness. He has featured in pre-season training, but I think it's 50-50 whether or not he's going to feature. He could come on with the second 11, maybe even just get 20 minutes at the end just to continue whatever recovery he's looking at. Now, United are going to more than likely take a very young side to Norway for the first of this summer's friendlies, which has also got trips to Edinburgh, which I was going to be going on, and now I'm not going on. Los Angeles, and I am going on that one. I think we've got a game in San Diego as well, and in South Carolina before the Charity Shield in just under a month's time when the season's actually really underway. Now we've never actually met in official competitive fixture before, but there have been quite a few friendlies with them in the past. Preseason 1992, Paul Ince, Brian McClair, Dennis Irwin all scored for Fergie's side as we won 3-2 ahead of our first Premier League title-winning campaign. There was also a friendly in 1977, which is United's first match in Norway, which was all right for us. It was an 8-0 win. And there's some names on here that even I've not seen play for United. Gordon Hill, Alex Forsyth, Sammy Mack, I do know Sammy Mack actually, Jimmy Greenough, Martin Buchan, and an own goal completed the route in front of about 8,000 spectators. Now, Rosenborg are fit and fresh because they are still playing in the Elite Series at the moment. They're currently sitting in 7th in the table. The Norwegian domestic season runs through the centre of the year, obviously with some of the weather that Norway faces. They don't want to be playing in December and January, so their season runs at a different time to the rest of Europe. And they are the record Norwegian league winners. They beat Odd 2-1 at the weekend, and they would have faced Strasbourg by the time this match is played, but after I've recorded this. They played Hearts in last season's UEFA Conference League, and despite finishing only 9th in Norway, they did have the second biggest average attendance. They're a big club in Norway. That was behind Brann, to sort of reflect the size of the club that you get in there. And this encounter should be a real test for a team that's at the beginning of a pre-season with a very, very young side that will likely be going out there. In terms of how they play, expect a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-5-1. They do like to sit behind and defend, but I think that the fitness and the sharpness and the fact that they'll probably play a fairly strong 11 could be a problem for us. The one to watch is going to be Sverre Nypan, a really, really talented 17-year-old that's been linked with United and been talking about United actually in the last week. Bit of a playmaker, has got pretty good qualities. He could play deeper or be a bit of a roamer. He's got good pace. He does like to get into the half spaces and really exploit people when he gets the opportunity. Really, really creative player. And he gets a free roam in this team because of the way that they sit with the ball. He's got a real high football IQ, and he does understand the game nicely as well. And he's got vision. You'll see killer passes from him, and you'll see him trying to score some goals as well. But he's also pretty hard-working and tenacious when the team doesn't have the ball, and he doesn't fuck about when it comes to the tracking back. So I think he's definitely going to be a player that United need to have a think about. And maybe not just have a think about, but maybe even have a look at, because a bit of a good prospect on him. In terms of the United 11, I would expect the following starting 11, or more or less. I mean, this is a guess, obviously, because I'm not sure of the stages of fitness of everybody, but I've tried to figure out what I think is the best available 11 from what's there at training. I think it's Onana in net, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Amass rounding out the defence, which would be nice to see Amass as well. Then I think a midfield of McTominay, Collyer, and Mount in a 2 and a 1, with Ahmad on the right, Rashford on the left, and Wheatley down the middle. I don't really see many other options for United. I have no idea on the situation with Mason Greenwood. I'd be surprised if United want to kick off that PR nightmare on tour by bringing Mason Greenwood. I think they'd rather just get him sold and forget all about it. I think Casemiro is fit. I'd be surprised if he starts, because I don't think they want to risk having him injured when they probably can get a fee for him in this window, and we absolutely need to be getting a fee for him in this window. So that's my starting 11. In terms of the United players to watch, I think Amass and Collyer have got a real chance. We have to find out whether they've got the ability to really sink or swim in the first team. But I'm going to be particularly paying attention to those two, and also hoping Mason Mount can start to look like the player that we paid £65 million for. And is Marcus Rashford looking like Marcus of last season or the season before? Because that's two completely different footballers, isn't it? Either way, let me know in the comments if you're tuning in for the game, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.